Look, the way too early projections and roster depth, they need to go to the wayside. We got to let the calendar play out. We got to let these transfers happen, and we got to let retirement announcements happen, because all of a sudden Caleb Downs, not in Athens, goes to Ohio State. Texas getting a whole lot of people as well. We're going to talk about what it means for Georgia specifically to, quote, miss on Caleb Downs, which we did, by the way, and it's okay because I have something else to say. We're talking about that and a whole lot of other stuff next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is good, party people? Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com/locked on. Make every moment more. We'll talk about more on them in a moment. We are talking today. I don't know. How about Caleb Downs in Athens getting ready to sign, and then all of a sudden Ohio State comes in, offers a bag, and he is going for the largest so far known NIL deal this year. A lot to digest about this, a lot to unpack. So we're going to talk about Caleb Downs. We're going to talk about roster management as it pertains to Georgia and who we have on the roster for defense. It's particularly safety, as well as Jack, as well as nickel, as well as star, because I think this doesn't change anything, but just Georgia fans might need some confidence, because we did, in fact, not get one of the best players in America. Let's no bones about that. So two things can be true at the same time. We're famous for saying on this show. And then in the third segment, we're going to talk a little something special for the 199, those who are loyal third segment listeners. And if that is you, continue listening all the way to the third segment, because you then are part of the loyal 199, those who are ride and die with us. If Daniel was here, my co-host Daniel, we'd be talking about this together, and we might clash a little bit on it, but I don't think so. I think he would say the same thing that I am saying here, so I don't think it is out of bounds to speak on his behalf. By the way, thank you for making us your first listen of the day. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Caleb Downs. Now, the first thing I want to say, in NIL, in unregulated Wild West, this is the reality that has become college football. And if you don't like what I'm saying, if you happen to be one of these people, if you happen to subscribe to these people, if you happen to believe that you will always continue to get your news from pay site, paywall subscription insiders, quote, insiders, those who have a pulse on the community, those who know what's going on, mark my words. We were asked on Twitter this last week, before Caleb Downs announced he was going to Ohio State. It seemed like, we were talking to some people, and it seemed like the general news and feeling around the program was that Caleb Downs was in fact going to come to Georgia. He was going to sign. He was going to be in the backfield of the defense. And I was going to make a very large wager over on all the booking sites that we have through Locked On, that Georgia was going to be no nonsense, no hiccups, no hurdles, national champion. That's how good Caleb Downs is for this defense. It would have been the best safety duo ever in the history of college football. It wouldn't have been close. And so as we're talking about it, but we said the longer this goes on, the less I like it. And that is a, quote, feeling. That's not, I wasn't talking to Caleb Downs' second cousin once removed on his mother's side. I wasn't talking to the administration office clerk who is doing class and dorm and housing. And I wasn't doing any of that. I was just saying, let's look at what's happening. Okay. So if you pay for all the insiders, here's the fact of the matter. There is no such thing as an insider. Let me encourage you. There is no such thing as, when news broke of this, we're talking everybody that we know that does what we do, everybody that's a podcast, everybody that covers college football, all of our Locked On hosts that we were looking at direct messages and the Twitter and everything like that. People are just, what is going on? What is happening? There is such a shroud of who knows mystery behind NIL, behind kids' choices, behind recruiting. But it is such a mysterious place now that is veiled that there is no insider. You once could have talked to a kid and could have talked to his uncle or his dad or his mom or something like that. Could have gotten some indications, could have signed, could have very, very logically gone through the steps. But now you got to look at a magic 8 ball. You got to look through a crystal ball of sorts. You have to start putting two and two together. And this is the 2 and 2 that we started putting together. Caleb Downs, people are saying, yes, it's Georgia. Well, hold on. There was a problem before that Caleb Downs' dad doesn't really like how his other son was recruited, and Caleb's brother it wasn't recruited the same way, and there's some animosity about that. And you think, maybe that's just rumors swirling, but that's at least something, right? Okay, so you got one tick. Hey, if he was really there, all of a sudden, why aren't we announcing? Why is it Friday night? Why is it going late into the weekend and we haven't announced? If everybody's so sure, if all these, oh no, I have good authority, good word. Caleb Downs is in Athens. It's a done deal. He's gonna be a dog. Okay, well then why hasn't it? Because Kirby has done this before with other recruits, and he has timed it perfectly with other announcements. DeBoer goes on Feinbaum in the afternoon, and there's no Go Dogs tweet. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, so that's tick 2. Tick 3 is Ohio State's grabbing a whole bunch of other Alabama commits, and Ryan Day can't coach, and so he has to go get players from other teams to come in and develop and get good, because Ryan Day is not, I repeat, Ryan Day is a fine coach, not a great coach. He had CJ Stroud. He had a generational talent. I mean, Dabo had generational talent, won national. He had the best quarterback to play in the last 3 years, and he couldn't get it done. Single-handedly almost beat Georgia. Okay, that's another tick. Ohio State's dropping bags. There's no announcement. There's some rumor of past animosity and feeling, and all of it just made me go, I don't feel good. We said on Twitter, I don't feel good about it all of a sudden. No, lock. Hey, college football fan, can I encourage you with something? Don't waste your money. Just don't waste your money. Because at the end of the day, no one knows, because this is the Wild West right now. And it's going to get regulations. It's going to be more tame. It's going to get a calendar. It's going to have some guardrails. That is true. That's coming down the pipeline. But let me tell you this. There is no way for anybody to know definitively, because this can happen all the time. This flip, this NIL, this bag, this drop in cash, this transfer, this open portal, there's nothing sacred anymore. It doesn't happen. That's why Kirby Smart's plan to just say, check a box. You want to be here for the scholarship and get developed, or you want to be here for the bag? Because if you want here for the bag, that means I want the ability to cancel our contract if you're not playing well and if you don't live up to it. That's why he's telling recruits, hey, if you have another plan and you want it, take it, because we have other plans too. If you want to work hard and come here, then come here and work hard. And the number one recruit in the entire nation for the next cycle said, this sounds lovely. There's a reason that's all there. And this is the reason why Ryan Day's saying, hey, come hang out with me. I got money because I can't do what Kirby's doing, but come over here. We're going to talk about Ohio State. We're going to talk about Sark over at Texas. We're going to talk about what this means for Georgia. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about these. And these are FanDuel. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more. Right now, FanDuel is fantastic, and you can get over there right now because the NFL season is wrapping up. There's still time to get in the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Put money in, place a $5 bet, get $150 in bonus bets. That's it. Make a bet. I know Lions fans, America's team. No. Make a bet for the Niners to win. Money line $5. Get $150 in bonus bets. The app is so easy to use. So many different ways. Live same game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. So, Caleb Downs, not in Georgia. What does this mean for UGA now? And let me start by saying this, please, for the love of all that is good. Caleb Downs would have made this defense absolutely impenetrable. Caleb Downs is one of the top 3 players in the entire college football landscape. Ohio State now has the best player on defense right now, as is best defensive player in their conference. Caleb Downs is a freak. Okay. He came into Alabama and started day one as a true freshman, led the team in tackles. Now you could say, well, that's not good. The linebacker should be doing that. Defensive line, the Alabama defense wasn't the defense. Yeah, I agree with you. But the dude is uber talented. There's no way around it. Now, will it translate over to Ohio State? Ohio State's losing some dudes. Ohio State's not the same team that they were last year. Ohio State has lost to Michigan all them times in a row. Ohio State hasn't been very good since C.J. Stroud, a couple of years ago. I understand, but all of a sudden you get a lot of returning talent, not to Ohio State, but outside of Ohio State into Ohio State. Okay, but I digress. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But I'm going to talk about UGA. We missed on Caleb Downs because he got the biggest NIL deal that he's seen. He had eyeballs on. He came back to Georgia and said, "Hey, I want this. Can you match it? Can you not match it?" And he played kind of the leverage game, which again, you're supposed to do. And if you don't like it, oh man, I sincerely just ask you, can you keep watching college football? Now, I've come to terms with it. You should too. If you don't like it, there's no way to stop it. And should it have been done? Look, I'm happy for these kids. Should it have been done the way that it is? No, it should not. It was ugly and messy and disgusting and ramifications, ripple effects all the way through. But ultimately, it's going to be good. It's going to be fine once we get guardrails put on it. But UGA is in good shape to be the top defense in the SEC. Well, number one, because Alabama will be middle of the pack defense in the SEC. They have not a defensive back to be named. I mean, y'all, go look at the depth chart. Go look at the incoming freshmen. Go look at the no longer incoming freshmen. That is one. Go look at the recruiting cycle. Go look at the transfer portal. Go look at those declaring for the draft. There is not a defensive back to be named in Alabama. They are going to be middle. I think they got cats up front, and we can talk about Keeley. Maybe news breaks of that. Maybe he dips to the portal. Maybe he comes to UGA again. We'll talk about what that means and looking for tea leaves signs. But if you look at Alabama, they're going to be middle of the pack defense because they do have dudes up front. They have linebackers. They have trench. They've always done that. Their defensive backfield is atrocious. All right. UGA has a chance to be the top defense in the SEC because, one, we have the best safety, number one all the way through. I think Caleb Downs next year or possibly this coming year could challenge Malachi Starks, but Malachi Starks is a bona fide top 15 draft choice next year when he declares, when he leaves Georgia, and he will leave as one of the best safeties that we've ever had. And you look at it and you say, again, I love when people do this like stats game with especially defensive linemen, right? You look at Jalen Carter on the Eagles and you're like, oh, look at the stats, look at the sacks. You're like, well, I don't think you understand scheme. I don't think you understand how defense is played. I think if you try to translate a passing yards, passing touchdowns to a defensive side, it doesn't work. So stop doing it, okay? You got to look at scheme. You got to look at how they're asked to perform their task. Malachi Starks has performed his task unbelievably well. Cover safety, he's incredible. He comes up in the run. He's never out of position. He's always ensuring that the backfield is secure on the defensive side. Okay, so Malachi Starks, number one, as is today, number one safety in college football. All right. Number two, we have the number one recruit that just got flipped, KJ Bolden, who is a freak athlete, played anywhere he wants on the field. Anywhere he wants on the field. The dude is big and lean and mean and fast. And he is the best safety that we can find. Okay, great. So we have the number one incoming safety. We have the Caleb Downs of last year now. Now you can fight what's the ceiling on Caleb Downs as opposed to Bolden. I don't care really because we're going to see Caleb Downs was supposed to be good, but he wasn't supposed to be that good year one. KJ Bolden's supposed to be good. Will he be that good year one? I don't know. Let's find out. But he's going to get his opportunity. Aguero, Bolden, Malachi Starks are going to be dudes that are going to get their fill. And I don't think Dane Jackson comes back for another ride, which, by the way, good on you, Dan. Just find them eligibility packets wherever you can. Will it be a top SEC defense with possibly two true freshmen starting in the defensive backfield, which could be the case? I think Aguero plays at safety. I think it's my guess. My guess is KJ Bolden plays at star. And those could be swapped interchangeably. I don't mind that, but I think there's going to be a lot of, hey, get on the field, let's see, let's test, let's find out what's going on. I think if the two inside linebacker positions are absolutely shored up, jack position, man, do we have Michael Williams in the right position now? The defensive line is secure with big dudes coming back, and Ellis Robinson will be playing again opposite, get a lot of playing time at the other corner position. That is also true. So we're going to have a bona fide stud in Malachi Starks. We're going to have a one-time 5-star at one corner. We're going to have another top 5-star, top cornerback that's come through a cycle in years, just a dude upon dude upon dude. We're talking LSU from a couple of years ago had guys on the defensive side, cornerback, that were just absolute studs as well. And Bama's had it, and we've seen that, and they've come in and played right away. So I think Ellis Robinson plays right away. But that means we have three guys, Aguero, Bolden, and Ellis Robinson, that will be untested, to say the least. I mean, that's as generous as I could be with it. Will it all hit? Will it all pan out? Will there be no mistakes? Okay, we're going to see. Now, there's two games now that we have to worry about because, man, y'all, when we go to Tuscaloosa, I don't know what to expect fully, but it's not the same game. Like, that's what can be said. First year SEC realignment, no West and East, and we're going to Tuscaloosa, and they're not the same, and we are better. We have more guys coming in. We have transfer portal helping us. It's not going to be the same game that it was, and it's a little. I mean, if I could be honest, it's a little disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. Do I know what's going to happen to him? Do I know to take the point spread? Do I know to lay him? No, I don't. Not yet. I got to see a lot more play out because the transfer portal's not done. But this defensive back group, KJ Bolden, I think, can come in and have an impact like Caleb Downs did, but and he's not going to be behind a worse defensive line and linebacker core that Caleb Downs was this last year in Tuscaloosa. I think he's going to have more mature leadership in front of him. I think him and Aguero are going to make a nice little tandem together. And I think Malachi Starks is going to shore up everybody and be the brains back there as well as the leader. And I think Ellis Robinson is just going to be able to be on an island and lock people down with his talent. Now, if those are the cases, if that's what's happening on the defensive side, we should be just fine. I'm not scared of the defensive back. It would have put us way over the top to get Caleb. I mean, just an embarrassment over the top to get Caleb Downs. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. It won't happen. Ohio State gets their dude, and Kirby Smart says, okay, I got guys who are here to work hard, and he's going to make the most of it. So, Dog fans, it was a miss, not the end of the world. We're going to be fine. We're going to be the top defense in the SEC next year. We're going to come back after this for the 199 and talk about a couple other teams, but first, these. All right. Here's what we want to talk about next. I want to talk about what it means for other teams, what it means for Texas, Ohio State, Alabama. Because if I were to reorder, I said at the beginning of the show, we got to reorder some things. We have to wait a hot minute and no longer allow ourselves to be anything but in the exact moment. So way too early look ahead for the top 25. Bama's not in the top 5, top 6, top 7. You could say, well, Milrow. Okay. You could say, oh, we're getting the best offensive linemen. No, you're not. No, you're not. Bama, come on. Real talk. You're not getting the best offensive linemen. You're getting a Joe Moore winning offensive lineman and a couple of them. Okay. That may be true. Not the best. Okay, like not the best. They won an award. Okay. there's been plenty of awards not given out to the best player. Again, Brock Bowers was told not to be the best tight end in the nation anytime he played. Like, he's the best tight end that's ever played college football. And for an award to go to anybody else but him was ludicrous. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. Are they good? Yeah, sure, they're good. Are they better? I don't know. Can you say definitively that the offensive line, the offense, running backs being lost, Milroe still being there? I think quarterback transfer, Milroe's not the starting quarterback at Alabama. Wide receivers, Isaiah Bond goes to Texas. Ooh, that one stings. I don't know, Alabama, if you understand the drop-off. You're not a top 5 team anymore. You could develop. If DeBoer comes in and makes them a top 5 team, that was a fantastic hire. Like, just a home run grand slam hire. We'll see. Texas is the best team in the nation, and it's 1A, 1B between us and them. They've gotten better. They were good. They've gotten better. They have wide receiver threats everywhere. They have Silas, Oregon State. They got Bond coming in. They got a couple other transfers. It's a lot of offensive power. Now they're losing some dudes, okay? Notably, they're losing one of our old dudes. They're losing some dudes on the outside, but they're gaining some guys. Can it translate immediately? I don't know. Sark's pretty good at offense, and I think Ewers continuing to be there is going to be absolutely crucial for their success. Does their defense drop off? Their defense was not good. Their defensive backfield was atrocious last year. We saw Penix absolutely light them up with an all-world performance. So Texas has to get their defense under wraps in the SEC, because that's going to be a brutal schedule as well for them, just being in the SEC. Their offense is legit, though, and they have weapons everywhere. Ohio State is going to run rickshaw all over their conference. Michigan is not going to be Michigan. They're going to have bans. They're going to have scholarship loss. They're going to have guys going to the NFL, and Jim Harbaugh is gone. So Michigan fan, enjoy the next 5 months, because it's getting real dark after that. Michigan's not going to be anything. Ohio State's going to have no competition. And they now have a stud dude at running back. Quarterback is really going to be interesting coming out. They seems like they have every year. Hey, last year, who's our quarterback? We ran one dude out. We chose a dude who was okay, not fantastic. And now all of a sudden they got Kansas State transfer. They got Sayin coming in as well. It's going to be interesting what they do at the quarterback position. And my guess is that they choose wrong. Whatever that means. I don't know what the right answer. My guess is that they just choose wrong, because Ryan Day chooses wrong. Running back, wide receiver, they're losing all-world talent. Defense, Caleb Downs needed to come there because they're good, but they got absolutely hammered on a couple of games last year, punched in the mouth and folded. Ohio State is still a top 5 team. Texas and Georgia are vying for that number 1 talent of roster composition as well as fit. They're going to be incredible as well. Ole Miss is still there in the top 5. LSU is going to drop off dramatically, I think, this year. I don't think it's going to be particularly great for them. I think they have a massive drop off. But if you're talking to me, if we're doing way too early look ahead top 25, I don't really care about the top 25. I care about, more or less, who can win the national championship. I think it's 4 teams. And we're gonna have a bigger field and bigger play. I get it. But it's Texas, it's Ohio State, it's Georgia. Clearly, Georgia's in that. I didn't mean to put them third to anger 199 people. I'm just trying to think of other teams, and I was thinking, is Ole Miss really a threat? Okay, yeah, I have to put them in there, but do I think they're really a threat? And the more I sit on it, the more I think on it. I don't know. But it is Texas, it is Ohio State, Georgia. Those are the top 3 clear favorite choices all the way through. And after that, what you want to play with games? Okay, it's not Washington. Like, not a chance. It's not Michigan. Not a chance. It's not TCU. I mean, there are 3 teams so far that are legit, no questions, 100% going to be in there. And Dog fans, good news is every single time you got a quarterback coming back like Carson Beck, it's really great news. Historically, when you have a quarterback like Carson Beck coming back, it is really good news for championship winning teams when that Happens. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll be talking more dogs every single day this week. We're your place to find. Thanks for the 199 being here, and we'll see you guys next time.